Ahead of today's episode, I am issuing a trigger warning because today I will be talking about mental health and all the things relating to it. Now, I'll be specifically mentioning things that happened to me and things that I know have happened to others, but we'll be talking about it in a confidential way. But I thought it best to issue this trigger warning in case there are things that are discussed, such as attempted suicides, medication anxiety, and things relating to it that can bring on these mental health issues that could be triggering for others. So please watch this video with caution and be respectful in the comments. So as you can tell from that starting introduction, today's video is going to be very different from anything that I've ever done, but it's a video that I felt was incredibly important to talk about. Now, I've always been incredibly open about my mental health issues, both on my Instagram, Twitter, and all forms of social media, as well as in person. And I have no shame about talking about that because I know that the discussion of mental health is an important one and is something that we still struggle in society today. Whether you're in a Western country, Eastern, or anywhere in the world, there will be struggles with conversation about mental health, if there even is a conversation about it. And the reason I wanted to do this video is because the struggles that I've had, maybe me talking about it could help others, and that's kind of what I want to help do with this channel. For me, starting up this channel was to help me deal with my mental health issues, which include anxiety, depression, and PTSD. So, and this is where the trigger comes in. Last year, I was assaulted in my hometown. And even saying this right now on camera is an incredibly painful thing to say, mainly because even a year on, I blame myself for what happened. And I know that is a huge struggle that people who have been assaulted, whether sexually or physically, like it was in my case, or even something that alludes to it, often do. And talking about it is even more of a struggle. But I started doing this channel because I knew I was struggling, but I didn't want to admit it to myself. So I tried to find as many ways as possible to distract me. And YouTube helped for a period of time, and has especially helped in these last couple of months where I found the things that make me happy and that I want to talk about, like Avatar and Percy Jackson. But before that, I wasn't in therapy. I wasn't talking about my feelings. I was bottling it up. I was hating myself and hating how I was feeling. I fell into a deep depression. I was anxious all the time. Sitting on a bus, which I have to take every day to go to work, was a struggle, and I hated every second, and I hated myself for feeling that way. But when I finally did get into therapy, I started to realise that all these things that I was doing, like shutting myself off, like shutting down, I've done so many times in the past where my mental health just got too much and I didn't take care of myself because I didn't see the point, or I didn't see the danger of what I was doing by overworking myself, not feeding myself much, or eating too much to the point that I was making myself unwell. And that's kind of why I want to do this video, because it is important to talk about your mental health, to recognise when there are things that you are doing that are not helping. For me, it was pretending like nothing happened, like nothing had changed, acting as if whenever I talked about what happened, it happened to someone else, denying that this thing even happened to me and that I was still reeling from it, still experiencing this trauma that I had, because I didn't want to have it. I didn't want to be this victim. And that word was the thing that I hated. Like, this is the first time I've used the word victim for myself, and it feels weird saying it, and I don't like saying it, but it's true. I just don't want that to define me. I think that's the thing with mental health. The more you talk about it, the more you talk about your struggles, whether it's to yourself, to a friend, to a therapist, to a family member, to whoever you feel comfortable talking about it to. It helps the healing process more than anything else. If you'd seen me before therapy back in December and compare it to now, even when I compare myself from then to now, I am a completely different person. Yes, I still struggle, and that's okay, because no one is ever going to be 100% okay, because that's completely impossible. Everyone is going to have a bad day, everyone's going to have a bad week, a bad year, a bad anything. But there will always be something good that comes along, and it's the focusing on the good which is the most important thing. Like this week hasn't been great for me. There have been things that have really pushed my buttons and made me struggle. But there have been good things too, like doing a YouTube video that I'm hoping will help people understand the struggles that people with mental health issues have, and to help people with mental health issues realise that it's okay. Yes, it sucks to have this mental health illness, but you can feel better, you can have a good day. It could be the smallest thing, like going to the gym for me. Going to the gym is such a small thing that's like an hour of my day, and it makes me feel so much better. Or maybe talking to a friend, not even about your mental health illness, just about how they're doing. Just small things like that can make a world of difference. And maybe talking to someone about your mental health illness can be just as useful. And it doesn't necessarily mean going to see a therapist, which I know is often a taboo subject. Now, I've been going to see therapists and I've been to counselling since I was about 9 years old, and it's been on and off since then. From being bullied when I was 9 to having more bullying in secondary school, to struggling with my sexuality, to being bullied again, and so on and so forth. And I've never felt ashamed about the fact that I've been to counselling, because to me it's just a normal thing, it's something that helped. So why would I be ashamed of it? But there are people who are ashamed that they go to counselling, that they see someone to help them. And yeah, counselling and therapy isn't for everyone, it doesn't work for everyone. But see if you can find something that does work for you. Whether it be talking to a friend, a family member, a professional, or even writing something to yourself. I know that when I do these YouTube videos, it's like writing a positive thing for myself. It just happens to be online. Or as well for me, actually doing some fictional writing. It gets all these frustrations and emotions out into a positive and constructive way, and doesn't allow me to deconstruct, or destruct is the big thing here. And I know this video doesn't have much direction, and that's kind of not the point of this video. I just kind of want to get all of this out about all these things that I'm feeling, and I just hope that me talking about this and me having no shame talking about my mental health will help others understand that they shouldn't have shame about their mental health either. Because everyone needs help at some point. Whether it's to do with mental health, whether it's to do to something in your life, or anything and everything. Not everyone is 100% okay all the time, and that's okay. Just because you're asking for help doesn't mean you're helpless. Just because you are getting help doesn't mean you're weak. In fact, it makes you one of the strongest people I and anyone else knows, because you are doing something. And if you haven't done anything yet, that's okay. Take your time. Think about it yourself. Think about what you want and how you think you can do this, whether it be speaking to a professional or something else. But always remember to look after yourself and look after those around you. Think about what is going on, and don't use your mental health as a reason to be cruel. I've done that in the past, and all it does is make me feel worse about myself, because I know I am being a horrible person, because at that point in time, that's all I want to do. All I want to do is be horrible, because I am hurting on the inside, and that is not an excuse. That is not a good justification for me being a shitty person. And I know I'm just going off on a tangent here really, but look after yourself, look after those around you, and more than anything, talk about mental health if you can. Now, I'm just going to do a normal send-off, but to let everyone know, in the description box there is a link to this website that has every single country's mental health hotline, whether it be a suicide hotline, an abuse hotline, or just anything related to general mental health. It is linked down there, and the majority of countries around the world do have a phone that you can call. If you do need help, call it. If you don't but still need someone to talk to, call it. That's what those guys are there for, and hopefully you'll find solace in speaking to someone, because I know I do when I speak to my therapist or my mum or my friends, because talking is often almost the best medicine. But do what is right for you. But yes, that is linked down below. And just to everyone out there, to my subscribers, to anyone who's come across this video, I love you guys, and be safe, and I hope you're okay.